and you. Welcome back to New Hampshire Vintage. My name is Wyatt, and today we are starting to regen. There we go. We got a fun one today. This is something I usually don't buy, and I was contemplating it, but I've always wanted one of these sleds, and this one's allegedly in immaculate condition. It doesn't run, which is perfect. We can try to get it running, but yeah, we got a little bit of a drive. It's in New York. Today's April 8th, and I guess there's supposed to be an eclipse today too, so we'll see if we can try to film that and get it all the way back here in New Hampshire and start tinkering on it. Hopefully we can ride it before all the snow melts. It's supposed to be 55 today and tomorrow, so this is it. We're on a time crunch. All right, let's get going. So I'm here at a rest area and right at the border of Mass. It's kind of hard to see, but there is something happening. It's definitely a lot darker than it should be at whatever time it is, 3 o'clock, give or take. I'll show you some more. I don't know, maybe you can see a little something right there. But anyways, that's the eclipse. I'm sure there's a bunch of videos on that, so I'm not going to be one of them. Kind of already am. But what I am going to show you is what I picked up. Right there. So let's do a little hobbling over some sleds. So this is it. A Riverside Caribou, made by Montgomery Ward. You can see she's fairly clean. It's definitely been restored in the past. He says he's had it for the last 15 years at least, and he's never ran it. Oh! Okay, there we go. There's not even any gas. I learned from the Ski-Doo that I had to check the fuel tank, because there's a fuel tank that's built into the chassis. Some of them had a bumper. I don't know if this one did. Like I said, this has been restored. It's not perfectly original, but it's still really cool nonetheless, and we're going to make this an awesome rider. So I got a couple other things I'm going to show you in the truck that Gene ended up giving me. I really appreciate him doing that. He didn't have to do that. Some wicked cool stuff, and I think it's actually getting a little darker outside. So yeah, let's look over this more when we get back to the shop. And yeah, it looks like it's about to rain. That's how dark it's getting. Definitely a lot darker out here. So here's a few things. That's a trophy that came with that sled. He wanted me to have that. He forgot to give me this when I was there last time. This is the same guy I bought the trade winds from. Here's the original owner's manual for the trade winds. Super cool. We got a whole bunch of other stuff too. We got an owner's manual for a Ski-Doo Elan, a 69 bomb. I actually have the same one of these. That's how you can tell how much of a nut I am. An old Sears Snow Cruiser manual. Scorpion manual with a cool jacket badge or patch, 2 of them, super cool. This is a ski rule. I had one of these. Super cool. Little booklet on that. Snow jet manual. Another snow jet like classifieds. I'll look into this later. 73 Johnson Evinrude service manual. Super cool. Alright, and these are in a little tiny postcard. These are what's really cool. So these are books that tell you all about Arctic Cats from 69 to 72, Evinrude's, Mercury, Polaris, Yamaha, Rupp. Really cool book. This is 1986 up there. Very cool. Clinton's Repair and Tune-Up Guide. These are like the books that if you get like an old car or like a 97 Cherokee, you can go and grab those books that tell you every single thing about it. This is another one too, which is amazing. It tells you everything. This is like the Bible of vintage snowmobiles. Jack Track. I don't even know what that is. Look at all this stuff. It tells you everything. So Gene, thank you. And as I was about to leave, he was like, oh, I got one more thing for you. He even gave me an old vintage snowmobile dolly. Because I guess the new ones don't work that good. And they're, well, I mean, they work great, but they're for newer sleds. This is a vintage one, which I guess new sled dollies don't fit vintage sleds that well. So he gave me that. It just needs tires. So we'll work on that too down the road. It's definitely getting dark now. It looks like it's going to become nighttime. All right, guys. Well, at least I got you a little sneak peek and showed you some of the extra goodies I got. I'm gonna make my way home now. This eclipse pretty cool. Just a little bit darker out. I don't have glasses, so I can't look right at the sun. So I'll see you guys when I am back in the shop with the sled unloaded and we can start digging through it, and I want to see if we can get this thing running. Man, is it beautiful outside. Little Polaris. We'll get back to that down the road. So here she is. So I'll walk around this, and while I'm walking around, I'll tell just a quick description about this sled. I tried doing some research on these and there's not a lot of information. So if you guys know about these, please write in the comments below. I'd love to hear more about it. Plus, correct me if I'm wrong. So I might be wrong a little bit here and there. But I think I have a brief description about these sleds because these are kind of hard to find. So this is a Ward's Riverside Caribou. Now this was a catalog sled, which means you order them off a catalog like the Sears sleds. So Sears, Montgomery Ward, which was a competitor, they were, and there was a few others, I think maybe JCPenney, they were catalog businesses. You could order everything out of there, houses even. And, well, Montgomery Ward wanted to get into the whole snowmobile craze like everybody else in the late 60s, early 70s. So in the late 60s, or sorry, the mid 60s, like 67, 66, they had Polaris design the sleds. So they kind of look like Polarises, and I believe they were called the Snow-Go's. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you can look up online, or I'll put a photo right now. And then they switched over to this beautiful blue hood with the yellow body in 68. And I believe this was a Ski-Doo, basically. Now that's where I could be wrong, but there's a lot of resemblance of a Ski-Doo. The skis, the seat, the engine is a SOX, which Ski-Doo obviously had, believe, Rotex by then. I believe they might have used Kohler or something in the early days. like everybody else. But you can see here, Ward Snowmobile, Montgomery Ward, but this one was made in Sweden, which is pretty neat. It's a pretty cool trailer hitch. I think this was just painted. So this thing's been restored. The previous owner said he thinks early 90s. You see the track's in really good shape. It has a center cog design like the early Polaris's. So you could see like repainting here and there. You could see like they painted over the grease fitting. Like it's not a perfect survivor, which I know is what a lot of vintage guys want. Kind of like the trade winds over there. That's an example of a survivor. It's never been altered, never been repainted, nothing like that. This is just a good original kind of sled. It's not a survivor. It's just a kept up, redone, made to look as clean as can be. I mean, kind of sled. And it shows. I mean, it's a good looking sled. It's definitely going to be fun to ride. And yeah, you can see you have a little pouch here. Now, I don't know if they like, I know they redid the hood, but I fully believe that this is involved with a Ski-Doo design or something close to that, because it has the fuel tank in the front. It has the long skis that go out quite a ways, which is a Ski-Doo thing. Even the clutches, the chain case. I'll turn on the light for you. It's a SOX motor, like I just said, which is a little different. But even where the exhaust pipe comes out is pretty much Ski-Doo. And also, you could tell, because it has the million bolts going around the front, which is a Ski-Doo thing, like the 68s, or the 67, sorry. 68, I think they made a better design hood. So yeah, really cool looking sled. Unfortunately, I noticed right away, this is not the right taillight. They had a little tiny one that I'll put a picture of that too. And unfortunately, this one's been redone probably when they restored the sled in the past. You can see it has even I think a broken wire for the light to work. So we can work on that later on. So it's unfortunate, but you can't really complain too much because these are hard to find to begin with. So it's kind of get what you can get. And if you get luckier, then you get luckier with them. The headlight's still original, which is really cool. So that's definitely a nice touch. So I don't know what this switch is. I don't know if this is original to the sled or not. My guess is it's maybe a, like, that's on, like it's a kill switch, like a key. Or maybe that's like lights on right without lights, or I'm not sure. I really don't know. We'll figure that out. We'll even see if it even has spark. Old Bosch spark plug. This looks like it's a compression release. Has the wicked cool cover for the Tillotson, I believe that's a Tillotson HR carb. And even has a really beautiful fuel filter on the front. You can tell more restoration, just kind of paint by the engine mount here being painted over. I don't know what this is. It's like a little circuit board. Maybe it's like fuses. I don't know. It has like a cable for the pole, which is actually pretty nifty. I guess you don't have to worry about the rope breaking, but it has good compression, so that's good. The carb's not stuck. The brake's a little sticky, but it's not bad. Oh, and that's another thing that Ski-Doo did too. You know, just the pad on the clutch there. You can see moving. So yeah, that's all there. Seat's in great shape. Let's see if I can get you down here enough. Here's the bogey wheels, which look excellent. They're all greased up. You can see there's some grease in there. And then see the front drive cogs up there, which look beautiful as well. So that's all good news. I guess you can, if these tracks ever go, you can convert these to a Ski-Doo track, because more evidence that it's basically a Ski-Doo. You just got to move those center cogs because they're in the center. You just got to move them out because Ski-Doos have them more a few inches apart, like 6 or 7 or whatever. And you got to do the same thing with the rear. And then if you do that, you could put a Ski-Doo track on, which they still make reproductions of and stuff because they made a million of those. So that's good news because I plan on riding this. So yeah, cool little overview. There's not a lot to this thing. It's in pretty good shape. Usually I buy junk. Kind of like, for example, usually something like that is more up my alley. So this, and I have a Polaris Snow Traveler for some of you viewers that are just tuning in. These are kind of the nice sleds, you know. As a collector, it's kind of nice having a little bit more of a nicer sled in the collection. And then the junk is more fun though. The previous owner, he says he's had it for at least 15 years and he's never started it at all. He just liked looking at it. Now I like to ride my stuff, so I want to get this thing running and riding. Who knows how long this thing's been sitting idle for. So that was a little scary buying it. So yeah, let's see if we can have this thing start up again in at least 15 years. The first thing I'm going to check is the tank. Maybe I can use the camera light to... Can you see down there? A little bit of rust, but it's really not that bad. Really not that bad compared to the Ski-Doo that we had. It definitely in a lot better shape. So yeah, we're gonna see if we can try to pull from that tank. And looks like what's pretty cool is it has a drain plug there. That's my guess. I'm gonna pull this off real quick and just see what that's about. So we're gonna take a socket and try to get that drain plug out. I'm just curious to see I do not have the smell of gas at all. I think we're gonna run it. So the first thing I kind of want to check is spark, honestly. That's my main concern, especially with something sitting this long, is if we don't have spark. Oh, that was loose. It looks like this thing's been kind of like prepped for storage. What is this, a Bosch M240T1? You can see it really doesn't look that bad. Yeah, it's really not that bad at all. Okay, well, we'll put this right here. A lot more trouble. Oh, yes. Now what does that do? Spark, spark. Okay. Okay, well, we got spark. Good. Curious. I think that's a stop button. Interesting. Okay. It's healthy spark too. We got spark. We've been getting really lucky with that, actually. Seems like the last 18 sleds I've done has had spark. So I'll take it. I'll take it all day long. I had one sled that was it was an Arctic Cat. Nothing against them. I love Arctic Cats, but it oh, what a nightmare that was trying to figure out all that. It ended up being, it had a little CDI box, I believe, on it, and yeah, it just tracing wires is awful. Okay, well, that's good to go. So let's start focusing on the carb, make sure that's all good to go, and then we will wire up the fuel, and I mean, give her a couple pulls, I guess, and see how she does. This might, I'm not even gonna say it. Not gonna say it. I really hope this sled runs good. It feels like it has good compression. This would be an awesome, awesome rider. Okay. There's the air filter. We'll throw that over there for now. Wow, it's very clean in there. This thing might have been gone through. Okay, let's take those off. Should be using a little bit bigger screwdriver, but these screws are, seems like they're coming out pretty easily. Yeah, look at that. That is so cool. It's actual metal. See the welds on the inside? Nowadays, this all would be a, well, obviously this is way different than nowadays, but that would be a plastic piece. Yeah, Tillotson HR8A. Just like a Ski-Doo. I don't know, it looks like this thing's been, oh, those gaskets are, yeah, we're gonna need to change out those gaskets. So we gotta take this carb off anyways. I was gonna try, I always take carbs off. I always take carbs off when I work on these things, but I was going to try to do a, that looks like that idle's really high. Let's get this carb off. We'll change out the gaskets, get this guy off, bring her to the bench. I don't know if she's going to need really a cleaning, just kind of more of a change the gaskets out and call it a day. This thing's fairly clean, but who knows? What looks good on the outside cannot be good on the inside. That one, we don't have to undo a fuel line. There's the, oh yeah, look at all. So let me get you guys in. That's the vacuum line that runs the fuel pump side of the carb. It goes to the crankcase. And that is rock solid. Yeah, that's just completely rock solid. So yeah, I think all the gaskets in this carb, even though it's probably fairly clean, I think they're just going to be nice to find another bolt too, because that one's starting to come rounded off. That's why they put it on the easy side. Okay, easy enough. Let's get this guy off. Oh, I can fit the wrench in here. Might have to bend one. I don't have one bent yet. That guy kind of more out of the way. Put these in the worst spots. I think we're going to bend one. Bending wrenches. Sure, right there. Oh, that worked. Well, worked. I wish I bent it a little bit more, but you know what? She'll do. Once you get it loose, you can usually just take the rest off by hand. Oh, I love it. And I forgot to hit record. I'll just kind of place this on top. So this is a, for people that don't know, Tillotson HR model. Basically, this is a mini version of an HD, which picture a lot bigger. And they put Tillotson, and there's also a little bit different variations. But for the snowmobile world, you have like the HR, the HD, and I think a couple of Arctic Cats had a little bit different setup on theirs. But these are a pretty good carb, and I like them a lot because this is your fuel pump. And your fuel pump is built onto the carb, unlike a Mikuni, which Mikuni's a really good carb as well. Very easy to clean and maintenance. But the only thing about Mikuni is you have to have a fuel pump off to the, it needs its own separate fuel pump, as well as Mikuni needs to be straight up so the floats work. This is designed where you can have it at a little bit of an angle here and there. I've seen some pretty close to being almost straight up, and you can have it whatever way you want, and that's what makes this carb so unique and cool. As well as once you get it cleaned and you're good, these things last quite a while before you really need to touch them again. And they're really not hard. It's really just paying attention to your fuel pump on how to assemble it. And I kind of count it as layers of a cake and how to put it back the way you took it apart. And if you just pay attention, you're good. I've done quite a few tutorials on a Tillotson carb. You also have instructions that you can get right online. I printed this one out. It tells you every single gasket in the orientation you need to go, which is really cool. These could also not come with this little nozzle. You can get these. This is your little inlet, which has a gasket and a little screen, which is kind of like, you always want to put a filter before, but it's kind of like a second line of defense. You also can come with one of these. So this would be like that. And this is actually a fuel filter. Now you might be like, oh, that's so cool and convenient. No, these are garbage. Literally, if you buy a Tillotson carb, yeah, just drop it on the floor and forget about it. Kick it underneath the bench and throw one of these on, because those leak. They don't seal properly and they create air. They're just not good. I'm not a fan of them. So we're going to take the fuel pump off and just see what's going on. I don't really have a gasket set. I'm going to try to use up all my spares that I have and try to make it work. If not, I'll have to order one. But yeah, let's just see. I really think this carb's going to be clean. You really want to see an in-depth video. I believe the 67 Ski-Doo is an in-depth video, and same with a few others. And a Tillotson HD, if you see one of my other videos and I'm doing an HD carb, it's literally the same thing, just a little bit bigger. And when I take this apart, I'll show you. I don't believe I have any Welch plugs. I'll show you what those are. So I don't think I'm going to drill through those today, but I will order a new kit from GBD Distribution, or GB Distribution, and I think he makes the best carb parts for these still. Vertex just, I don't know, they're just not that. So the top came off. Let's see if we can get this. There we go. Had a little bit of movement to it. So this is your fuel pump, and really isn't that bad. I might not even... Should have just left it alone. So pop that needle, make sure that's good. So when you pop this needle with the little screw here, when you pull this out, there's a little spring. Do not lose this. Once you lose that, you need to, you're going to have a bad time, pretty much. I'm just going to pull that needle because I think that's a little bit stuck. But you can see here, these are two Welch plugs. Behind one of them is a little, it's like a jiggly ball in a cylinder. And those get stuck, and those will cause these not to run right. You can shake them, and you can usually hear this ball is moving freely, so I'm not going to even take those off, but I am going to try to get that little needle out. This carb looks very clean. It really does. I'm very amazed. Don't know. Might have a cleaner screen I can throw on there. I always save my old parts. You can see I have a bunch of different gaskets. And I'm not going to touch any of the rest of this. I'm just going to throw this back together because I honestly think this is going to run the way this is. But I am going to change out the gaskets. He's stuck to the screwdriver. Oh, I got nervous there. I think I have a spare one, but still. Now, one thing I did notice is how far down that is. That's not supposed to be like that. You really want it where it's level with the top of the unit there. I think there's a reason why I did that, because I'm a idiot. It's okay. Put the needle in upside down. Good. Good job, Wyatt. There we go. See, I even make mistakes. That's why this one I'm not making a tutorial. Just kind of showing. There we go. Now I can adjust it back down to where it needs to be. There we go. That's more like it. Nice and level. Lifts up on the arm. Perfect. Okay. Good to go. So now, let's see if we can, oh yeah, these gaskets are smoked. I'll start from the bottom. So I need, this really isn't that bad, so I'm just going to save that just in case if I don't have them. Alright, I think I have all my gaskets sourced. I'm going to try to, let me clean that up a little bit, and then I'll be back. Okay, I forgot to hit record again. So when you have your carb here, you have your first gasket, and you can tell that you got to use one of these because when you take your old one off, you can see it has an outer ring. So your carb has little like nipples on it. You can line that up with the little tiny holes in the gasket like so. See that? Then you take your little wagon wheel fuel pump, flip them over, because if you see on your chart, your wagon wheel faces the bottom of the carb. So you flip this guy over, line them up some more. You should fit just like that. Then you take your inlet for your vacuum. I'm going to clean this up a little bit, the surface here. Make sure. And you can see it has nubs as well. So it's going to face a certain way. Just like that. So you'll see there's little indents. Line those up with your nubs. Usually it has a square on the front. That usually faces the front of the carb or whatever way, but usually it's facing one way. Okay, so we're good with that. And then we're going to take our other pump there and our little gasket here. We're going to just copy just like that. Then you can see here we got a square with a square. Boom. Brand new gaskets. Saving a million gaskets there help, because then you can rebuild a carb. Now if this doesn't run fully, I'll re-go through this again once I get a carb kit for it this fall, but I don't see a problem with this thing. And we can just put these back in, get this put back together, and then we'll just put our little inlet on, and then we'll run some fuel lines. Another pro tip, when you throw your inlet on, not your junky fuel pump, make sure when you tighten this, don't wrench it wicked tight, because you'll crack the plastic. And if you don't have another replacement like me, you don't want to crack this, and then you're going to be having a bad time. You're going to have to use your fuel pump until you get another one, and you're not going to be happy with that. So usually I set this, this one's just tight right now, but usually I set it kind of loose, and you can move your nozzle around whatever way you want. So when you mount this on the sled and you run your fuel line, you can have it where you want, and then you can tighten it down. So that's kind of like another little trick too. But there we go. We'll see if this guy works. I don't see any problem with it. So now you can see back there, that's our little nozzle that goes to the fuel tank. Let me see if I can reach back there with a wrench and try to get that off. I don't know what size it's going to be. It's probably going to be a 12. Now I won't be able to get you guys in here really to see me wrench that off, but you can watch me struggle for a second. You might be wondering, why are you taking off that little nozzle? It's already in there. Well, since it's a metal tank, and the last one I had on the Ski-Doo was a little rusty, and I just want to see. Yep. See, it has a. I'll bring you guys in. So you can see on the bottom it has this little rod that goes close to the bottom of the tank. These usually rust out, and you could still have the top, but then it might end here. And then if you only put this much fuel in, you're not going to get any. This one's not bad actually. I'm blowing through it. Yeah. So you can see it's kind of crusty at the bottom. It looks like it's soldered on. I'm going to leave it be for now. Okay. So this is the old crusty vacuum line. So we're going to see if we have a placement for that. So keep. Oh, we're going to also need. I had a package come in and 20 fuel filters. So should be good for fuel filters for a little while. I'll actually need to grab one of those. I'll grab it after. So this box labeled Snowmobile stuff should have probably gonna do it right there. All right, so after digging, I do not have a AB7, so we're just gonna run this plug for now until I get another one. That one was producing fine sparks, so it should work no problem. So now I'm gonna grab some stainless steel hose clamps and this kind of nifty tool I got. So it's like a flexible hose clamp tightener, and you have a little head on it. Swap it around, you can do bigger hose clamps or the smaller hose clamps, the 1/4 to 5/16, which is really cool. So we're going to use that, and we're going to run I'm going to do a rubber line because I feel like that's going to hold up a lot better and be a lot cleaner. From there, run it down underneath probably the engine. I want it to come out somewhere right here, and then we can filter it right here where we can see, so we can monitor it. I mean, we could put a filter there, but it'd be easier to have one right here. And then we'll also have to cut a small piece for the carb too. Okay, carb is mounted back on. I got new gaskets. It was hard to see that the old gasket was still in that little spacer, but it's there now. There you go. So we got that done. We got the throttle cable back on. We got the new little vacuum line. I was going to try to use the fuel line, but that wasn't working well. These are so close that it's hard to get a line to even fit, and I feel like down the road that one's going to lose its strength. You could probably see it there, and it's going to start folding and crimping, but we'll see. For now, we'll run it. It's really not that bad. So we'll run that, and then I'll run the nice black fuel line. We'll run this down. Hopefully somewhere away from the clutches. We'll run it down. See it. Okay, so I ended up going with the blue line. I like this better than the black. It's a little bit more thinner. I can see what's going on. I have it running back to the tank back there. Goes around. There's a filter. It just hugs underneath the engine and pops out right there. I think that's pretty good. Filter's accessible. I just zip tied it so it's kind of in place behind there, so it's not flapping all over the place. And yeah, I think it looks pretty good. So now I'm gonna throw a little gas down it, and I'm gonna pre-prime it a little bit and connect the fuel line, and we're gonna see if this thing barks off. See how that Tilson's facing down a little bit? Couldn't really do that. You could probably go a little bit with the Mikuni, but you can't do that with Mikunis. That's a kill switch, I guarantee it. We'll find out. All right, let's clean this up and fill it with gas and try to pull it. This is just 40-to-1 mixed gas. I don't want to do a whole bunch just in case if it leaks. So far so good, so there's no holes in the bottom. Let me just put a fuel clamp right there. We'll tie it to the carb, and we're going to give this thing a couple pulls. All right, I kept the air filter off for now. It's really not even an air filter, it just diverts the suction down there so it's not right at your groin area. All right, I think it's time to start pulling. It's pretty much go time. here, just a little bit of help. I know. Don't use starting fluid. Oh. Okay, this is the coolest sounding sled I think I ever have. Wow. Even the front light works. Oh man, super cool. I'm gonna have to figure out something with this cap because it just slides in like that and that's just gonna rattle around. Maybe I can get like a tape or something that's good with not getting eaten by gas, and they can give it kind of a nice seal. Oh man, what a cool sled. She wants to go too. I don't want to go back and forth too much. I don't know what's in the chain case. I don't know if it's empty. I don't know if there's stuff in it, but we'll worry about that another time. I got a little bit there, but I'm pretty much beside snowbanks. I ain't got anything. It's unfortunate, and I don't want to rip it through the muddy parking lot and the muddy grass that I have, so this is too nice. Not a... That one will. I'd gladly rip that thing through a mud puddle, but not this one. Let's do another start. Oh man, she's a runner. She's definitely a runner for sure. I'm excited to ride it this fall. It unfortunately just these 2 warm days killed all the rest of our snow. It's all right. I'm kind of ready for spring and that kind of deal. But that being said, we got a few more things to do to this, but we're gonna wait till fall for that. It's a bunch of little nitpicky stuff. Well, one of it's a little bit more serious, but chain case, I need to check to make sure that's full of fluid. I don't want to do that now because in case if it has a slow leak or something, if it's empty already, it doesn't seem like it's leaking. So if I fill that and then all of a sudden this summer I have to deal with a leaky chain case that drips or whatever onto the floor, that's going to be a little bit of a pain for me. So I'm just going to leave it out as it is. We also have a few bolts we need to tighten up. This clutch is a little noisy. I know they kind of have a little bit of noise to them, but I kind of want to just take a look at that and just see how that is. And also the bogey wheels. I just want to make sure those are all good. They look good, but I want to make sure they're greased and just kind of spin every single one of them, just make sure the bearings feel good. But they do look really nice. The track and everything on this thing looks good for the age. We also need to address the rear taillight because that doesn't work, and that's just me being nitpicky. And yeah, maybe a few other little things. This recoil has a little bit of a, doesn't want to go back in its spot sometimes. Maybe we can address that if I find a new recoil. And yeah, that's, other than that, I mean, she's pretty good. Grease other couple little small fittings there, and I'm excited. So that's going to do it for this sled and the 2023-2024 vintage sled season. We got a few things this summer that I want to work on sled related, a few projects. There's one sled that I have that's super loud. I want to do a cool exhaust on it, so I think that'll be kind of cool. Practice more of our welding. And also, what do you guys want to see? Do you guys want to see old lawnmowers, maybe old small tractors, or I can't afford a car right now, so we can't do any car revivals, but and I'm not that mechanically skilled yet. Old four-wheelers, dirt bikes, anything like that, I'm all for. Just let me know in the comments down there. Well, I hope I see you guys very soon. Sorry for the delay of videos, but yeah, stay tuned. This little girl will be back.